What is up, YouTube? So, Pyerse Janet here, Lex Pyerse Clothing, and we're doing a blind reaction to John James Naruto. I think that's how it is. He's doing an interview with Anthony and Stephanie Wingfield, and I guess they're coming home to Nigeria for the first time, and we're going to do a blind reaction and talk along the way. So, let's see how this goes. I mean, the scenery is always
Hey
amazing.
everybody, this is Jon James Olomo.
Olomo.
Everybody here in Nigeria calls me Omowale. That means the child who returned home. I am here today to talk with the Wingfields. They have come on a private tour to Nigeria. Let me tell you, I think it's been amazing. I've had a great time with them. Their DNA connects to Africa.
Wow.
They have Nigerian DNA in them, amongst other things. And so later today, we're going to do their DNA reveal. I'm trying so hard to hold it in. Even Oluchi behind the camera is trying to hold it in. Our whole team is abundantly excited to reveal their DNA to them on their father's soil here in Africa. So, Anthony Wingfield, how has it been so far?
Hello. It has been wonderful. It has been really amazing.
So a lot of people and actually let's bring in Stephanie too. Stephanie, how are you doing?
I feel good. Great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of people when they think of Africa or Nigeria, they go, "Oh, I don't know if I want to go." What were some things that people might have said to you before you guys came? Like things that may have been discouraging or encouraging?
Well, um, it was mainly discouraging, but I'm very optimistic thinking, and
I'm glad you overlooked that and went anyway and not listen to the naysayers.
um, I took in, some of the information and I tabled it because I I feel that there's always going to be negative uh, somewhere. And so I did not let that discourage me,
She's greeting you. Hey, Carol.
Cairo. Yeah, I did not let that discourage me.
That's good. That's good. And the reality is you'll get discouragement even from Nigerians, like, oh, don't go, oh, it's dangerous, you know.
Right.
And of course, African Americans as well. Um, now that you guys are here, like Stephanie, have you felt safe?
Yes. From the
Oh
moment
wow.
I stepped, coming out of the airport,
Yeah,
I felt safe.
yeah. From the moment you've gotten here, and we kind of hover. I'm overprotective. Our
Mm-hmm.
team is overprotective. But at the same time, one night you guys just didn't even call the team back. Just took a stroll
Yeah.
Right.
from
Landmark. We were in the
Landmark to Hard Rock,
yeah.
Yes.
Hard Rock Cafe.
How far is
So,
that walk?
okay, what made you guys decide to come?
Well, personally, I'm building a legacy, and so to me, it was very important to trace my roots,
Hmm.
so that I would have an understanding of my roots
Hmm.
to explain and to share with my family.
Right, right.
Yes.
I love it.
And hearing so many awesome things about Africa,
Hmm.
not only uh, Africa, but Nigeria.
Right.
And, you spoke a little bit about the DNA testing,
Hmm.
and I saw that a large percentage of my DNA, uh, over 44%, was from Nigeria.
Right.
44%.
Right.
Wow.
And what about you, Stephanie? Like, what was the reason that resonated with you strongly enough to say, I want to go?
I just think it's important if you can come at least once in your life
Yeah.
because I think it's something that we
Yeah.
all want to do. Oh, I want to go to Africa one day.
Right.
I want to go, but we continue to put it on the back burner
Right.
because of you know, I think because of the maybe heaviness, because you'll feel because you know it was the slave trade, so
It's a
it's
lot.
almost like okay, you just want to go vacation, you want to go hip hop here, but I think the older you get, it becomes more and more important,
Right.
to make the journey back home.
Agreed.
It does, and you're reminding me of a couple of things from this last week. Um, Number one, you guys are world traveled, and you told your husband that this was the best trip you had ever taken. Please speak to that, because that actually blew me away.
That's important.
Well, besides the trip we took when we got married.
But besides the honeymoon, you know,
And I had to bring that up to her.
He felt some type of way about that. So
you know, but hey, you know, she's entitled to her own opinion.
But see, hey, you brought her on this too, and you brought her on the honeymoon.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So
it was actually our wedding. We got married in Antigua.
In Antigua,
yes,
okay.
Yes.
I think because it was both educational, it was fun, it was a cultural experience that I'll be able to take back.
Yeah.
It was just well rounded.
Yeah.
From the food to our activities
Right.
to the drives. You know, it was just an overall sense of returning home, and I feel like I'm home.
Beautiful.
I feel like I'm home. It's going to be. I know it's going to be hard for me to leave.
Yeah.
I bet. I know when I was in Ghana, I didn't want to come back home.
Yeah, that's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for me to see you guys go. You know, yeah.
It's just, I think it's just a natural feeling.
Yeah.
Definitely a natural feeling.
It feels natural to be here.
Right.
It does.
And then when you see you walking down the street,
everywhere,
when you see you on the billboards, when you see you
on the TV,
on the
exactly
TV,
how
right? It does something. It's healing.
Yes.
As you said.
Yeah.
And all you're looking for peace. You want healing. You want restoration. So I think you feel all of those.
Yes.
Yeah.
Truly.
Yeah. Well said. Well said. Yeah. It is healing. You know, it's weird, but it is psychologically healing to just drive for 10 minutes and all you see is your people.
Yeah.
And then an hour, your folks. And then 2 hours. The only thing that you've seen on the side of the road for 5 hours is your people. You can go 8 hours and it's still, and then you realize there's 240 million of us. We are on every billboard, every commercial, every vendor, every business owner. And we don't see that in the U.S.
No.
You know, I mean, you both mentioned having moments where you felt safer here than you feel in the U.S.
I mean, you don't even see that in black neighborhoods all the time. You don't even see that on black TV shows all the time, but you see it all the time in an African country like Ghana, like Nigeria. So yes, it is very therapeutic.
You know, and yet we're told all of these other things about Africa, you know, and we sit around police here and we have no stress, just like this.
Right.
And one of the things I was told was Nigerians, they don't like us.
Yeah,
and from the moment we stepped off the plane, we were welcome.
Nothing but love.
People
Nothing
saying,
but love.
welcome home, like we welcome you.
Yeah.
Just happy to see you.
Right.
They were happy to see us. So.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
That was a major, like, whoa. Like, it kind of bring tears to your eyes because you have this defense coming in, like, oh, I'm gonna be like this.
And it's just arms wide open.
Arms wide open.
Yeah. That's one of the number one questions or hesitations I get from people. I would say it's in the top 3. People will say they're worried about safety and security.
Right.
And as you can see, I mean, this is Nigeria.
Yeah.
You know, and even the other places that we've gone to, it's just very, very safe. Our bags are over there.
Right.
It's just, you know, it's so, but then people will tell me, oh, Africans don't like us. I don't know where you got that from. You know, and you guys have been saying the whole time.
It was commercial.
So welcoming.
It was, you know, commercialized. You know, I think it's people speaking about something that they have no firsthand knowledge about.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Exactly what it
Yeah.
was. They didn't know
And I want
nothing.
to say to people when they do that, like, okay, well, who do you think likes you in the U.S.?
Oh,
Okay. Okay.
When they make a statement like that, you know, people have said things about
I think that's a lot of it is the devil you know versus the devil you don't know. So I mean, do black people in America know that they like here or they hate here? No, they don't. They know. We know in America people don't like us. We know that, but we're used to it. We don't gotta pay all that money to go out there. So I get the logic. I disagree with it, but I get the logic. I mean, you got to go out there and see things, and this is what the same people who told you one thing will tell you this too. You got to go out and see. You got to see for yourself.
oh, is it stable, the political insecurity? I'm like, yeah, nobody's storming the Capitol building on January 6th.
right,
Thank
right.
you.
You know,
Right.
I mean, oh, is the banking stable? Oh, you've seen
Yeah.
20% money market rates. You
Right.
can stay in the U.S. and get 1% if you want to.
If you're lucky.
Yeah,
Was it 0.01?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You can walk to the bank in here and get 20% in the money market.
Right.
You can get 20+% in T-bills.
Yeah.
You know, government guaranteed T-bills. You know,
Mm.
so okay. So my next question is: we attended the coronation, a king's coronation. You guys got to sit in the king's court of the palace. What was that like for you?
Wow. That was beautiful. It was just beautiful. The entire ceremony was beautiful. Upon arrival, we were greeted by the drummers, the talking drums, and
Wow.
we stepped out of the vehicle and was escorted to the palace with the drums, and it just felt
Beautiful.
like, wow, this is awesome. And it was a feeling within inside. I can't really explain it, but it was a feeling that I felt that was just so gratifying.
Mm-hmm.
And once we were invited inside the palace, it was gorgeous. There were several kings present at the time,
Yes, yes,
and
yes.
as you shared and as I heard, not everyone is able to enter the palace
Mm-hmm.
and meet kings.
Mm-hmm.
We were able to meet the kings and talk with them, have conversations, and just get more of an understanding
Mm-hmm.
of their role as a king, and how they are an overseer of their kingdom, of their people in their kingdom,
Mm-hmm.
That's
the
so
different
important.
levels of kings.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was. I was very thankful and grateful.
Beautiful, beautiful. What about you? What was that like going to a
Yeah.
king's coronation?
Enlightening, because honestly, I didn't know to see kings in 2025,
Uh huh.
to know that they're still
Uh
there
huh. Yep.
shows
Mm-hmm.
like the resilience of the
Yes.
people. And I was kind of like overwhelmed for
Right.
me. I
Right.
was overwhelmed a little bit.
Wow.
Um, it was to meet their wives were wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Just to see
Mm-hmm.
how everyone got along. I
Yeah.
felt that the king was very approachable,
Mm-hmm.
down to earth. I felt comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony felt comfortable
Right.
just being there.
Yes.
But
That's so
I
important.
just I'm able to go home and tell our children, you know what? There are still kings, right,
Yep.
and queens in Africa that we descended from,
Mm-hmm.
and to see it still going, like no one can really take our culture.
Mm-hmm.
They
Right.
can try,
Mm-hmm.
but it just look how long it's lasted.
Right. Right.
Well,
And
that's for
even though with
thousands of years. Yeah,
everything
you're not
going
gonna take
on,
our
they're
culture back.
still there.
This is
Still there.
ours.
You
They're
know.
still there.
Still there.
That's amazing.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to ask you guys your perspective because in the states, you know, we hear things like, "Oh, you come from kings and queens," and I didn't realize how many people make that past tense. you come from kings and
Right.
queens. Like, no, we're still here.
Right.
We still have our monarchies. We still have um, people are still being titled to this day, you know, and colonialism didn't break that. You know, the thing is though, even Africans in the diaspora, you know, it's important to come here and connect with this to sustain it, to help sustain it.
Yes.
So we've also gone to Badagry.
Hmm.
Okay, and so you've gone from uh, sitting royalty, present day, and then boom, you go to Badagry and you see the slave tours, and I feel like that's even a weird word, but you see where slaves were sold and the point of no return. What was that like for you guys?
Wow. That was deep. It was very deep. I really appreciate the museums
Mm-hmm.
that were preserved and a lot of the buildings that were preserved, and just getting the history. It was so much information, coming and going and coming, and just really uh, just really trying to understand and focus on everything that happened. It was very heartfelt, but I tell you, the best part about it is after after the tour, or after seeing everything, and then having time to reflect about it all, because there's so many thoughts and so many questions and so many what ifs that come up. But to see that we survived, it speaks volume.
Right.
Not to take anything away from my ancestors, because they were brutally taken advantage of. They were killed. They were hung. They were assaulted. It was horrible.
Right.
We saw the chains, and different things, and you know everyone knows our people know our history, but it just added another layer.
Sure.
Or should I say, uncovered another
Yes.
layer
Yes.
of what we already know.
Just a whole dimension.
Yeah.
It just colors it in.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because you sit there and you see that, okay, there were human beings, 40 human beings traded for an umbrella.
Wow. Now that was crazy. That was
That's bananas.
unbelievable. We went through the one part of the museum where they literally gave us a picture of items, and they said this item was sold for, 20 slaves. This item was traded for 40 slaves. This item was traded for 60 slaves. And we were treated as lower than dogs, lower than
Right.
animals.
Right. And then,
See, that's the part I didn't know. I thought that the slaves were. I thought it was expensive to have slaves, but they were getting them cheap. So I guess there was a huge market when it came to this side of the island, or to this side of the ocean.
um, to go to the point of no return, where people were taken up that structure, which is disorienting, and then loaded onto a boat. Um, Mothers separated from their children, fathers castrated and taken away from their wives and their family. And some people even gag with steel balls so they can't speak the language and form a revolt on the ship. And this is how so many of us lost our mother's tongue, of our tribal language. Um, what did that feel like to you, just standing there at the point of no return?
yeah, that was very sad, very heartbreaking. Um, we saw that, or we were told that when the families are separated, the the mother may go this way, the child may go this way, and it was to that would be the last time they would see one another. Um, and it was it was it was it was it was just too much.
Yeah.
And at some point, it could get
indescribable.
very emotional.
It's unimaginable.
Number
If
one,
someone tried to take your child away from you, even one person of your family, you know,
Right.
if somebody just tried to take one person, you
remember,
would just be devastated. Come in
Right.
and snatch your child
Yes.
from under you,
Right.
you know.
Mhm.
You don't even want to imagine it. So
Right.
to have to know that actually happened, I don't know. You can't. I
Can't
don't
imagine
think you
it.
can put a word on it.
Right.
The
Yeah.
feeling is because it would just break you down.
Yeah.
It's gonna, and you know.
Yeah, it's very emotional
It's very
moment.
emotional.
That was the
Yeah.
most emotional part
Yeah.
of the whole
The
trip.
whole trip.
Yeah.
That stuff is rough. I don't know. Personally, I may not want to see the slave castles when I go to Nigeria, but that's just me.
But it was one of the reasons we came. So when we go back, we can still tell our children, no, you know what? This is what happened. It's true.
Yeah.
No matter if they wipe out your history from
Try.
the books or whatever, try.
They try.
It
Yeah.
happened. And we're still standing.
We're still
Right?
standing.
We're still
Yeah.
standing. You're going to make it. Keep moving forward. You know, it just.
You know what that just came to me is that we're going to go back and so somewhat make history because we're going to be able to share this with our grandchildren.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So we're going to be making history.
Absolutely.
You know. Yeah.
You course correct for your own family.
Yes.
You
Right.
course correct for people in your community, people that know you, and in your circle of influence. You know, for me, and I've been there more than once, and I have to go into a certain state to take people through that. And to even hear you describe it, a mother having to be separated, you know, from their children, I would imagine the burning wish is one day my child will come back here. If not my child's child will come back here.
Come back home.
And you guys came back home.
Mm-hmm.
You guys honored your ancestors and came all the way back home. How does that feel now? Do you feel a sense of empowerment now that you did not have before?
I do.
I do.
And, you know, I want to, I don't know, I guess I could go ahead and speak on this because last night as we were asleep, my mom came to me in a dream. She came to me and it was to where I recall my hand being like this. And I was trying to move forward and I couldn't. I was just there. And she grabbed my hand and she said, "Come on."
Wow. Wow. Wow.
That was something. I shared that with my wife this morning.
Wow.
Yeah. 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 My mom has been gone now for she passed in 97.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry, 2007. Yeah, she passed in 2007.
And you haven't dreamed of her.
It's been a while since my mom has come to me in a dream. Yes.
You know, that's how the ancestors are, you know, because in our tradition, the unseen realm is the greater reality.
Right.
And the things that we touch and feel are not reality, they are the illusion. And so the ancestors walk amongst us in that other realm, and they guide us. It is what we would call the guardian angels, be the ancestors.
Mm-hmm.
For me, after we were in Badagry, um, all of a sudden my phone on WhatsApp, it was just blowing up with my African relatives here that hadn't hit me up in a long time, and like 5 people just hit me up out of nowhere, and we're going to be getting together soon. And so um, that was just that energy released and just went out there into the ether.
Yeah.
But for you, do you also feel like a deeper sense of strength, Stephanie, and resilience now that you've gone through this whole thing?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I don't know how to put it into words quite yet,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it's important to know where you come from.
Right.
Very.
And now that I know, I'm sure it'll be a difference in my life.
Are you guys coming back?
Oh yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
plan. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh
See,
yeah.
and
Oh,
that's what makes
And
me
hopefully bring
happy.
others.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
And
the plan.
Yeah.
You know, to
bring
definitely come and bring others. If it's, you know, if it's just 2 of our grandchildren, or you know, friends or a couple friends or someone. But yeah.
And like you guys have said, we struggle with this as a team. You know, you said this is not a tour. This is so much more than that.
Right.
And it is a gross injustice to call it a tour. You know, because this is not, you go sign up for a safari. Everything here is real.
Right.
Just like the lady that would walk by a few minutes ago, and the way she came down to greet you guys, that was just random.
Right.
But you know that is happening everywhere that we go.
Right.
Shameless self-promotion through Tribal Tapestry. We also, though we have access to things that people would not be able to pay for and experience and access, like the palaces and things of that nature.
Right.
The great thing is I can see how restored you guys are. You vibrate and shine brighter and bigger now than you did when you stepped off that plane.
Wow.
And we have not even gotten to your DNA reveal yet, which we are going to do later this afternoon. And you will learn your tribe of descent, what we call your crown tribe. That is the tribe that you wear as your crown. Even though you might have some other tribes in your blood, it is that one that your ancestors were taken from. It is that one that represents the gross identity of who you are and what you are. And it is powerful to know your tribe. You start to learn the personality characteristics that go with the tribe, and you go, oh, this is why I'm, for example, in the movie Amistad, you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
The people that they had taken captive in that movie, they were Mende tribe from Sierra Leone.
Okay.
Mende is, they buck the system. A Mende will tell you no just to say good morning. You know, a Mende will debate you, you know, just good morning. Oh, it's good afternoon.
Right.
It's, oh, okay. You know, technically it is, you know. So there are different personality and instinctive characteristics that go. You guys have shared stories with me over this last week about processes that take place in your family, about processes or things that your family still do to this day that are very much African. They also correspond to your DNA.
Wow.
So your family is doing things in correspondence to your heritage.
Right.
Even though you guys
didn't
know that.
Didn't know that, right.
You know,
right.
And that's why it's also important to come here and touch it and feel it, because you'll see it in its completeness.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
So
and you'll
true.
realize that, oh, we have kind of been doing this and didn't know what to call it. But when you actually see it, now you can name it.
Right.
And
Yeah,
you can
tell
see it
what
in
it
its
is,
totality.
Yeah.
For example, in many of these movies, like I think it was Boys in the Hood, or I forget the other one back in the day, Juice or something like that. You know, when they're drinking 40 ounces, I'm gonna pour this out for the homies.
Right.
Well, here in the ceremonies, they're gonna take the white gin, pour it out for the ancestors, and pray before they start.
Wow.
You know, so all of these, we have so many little things
Yeah.
that are done in the States that come from here.
True. We were talking a couple of days ago about the passing of loved ones, and the tradition years ago here in Africa with our ancestors. When one of them would pass, they would be buried in the house,
in the home.
Literally dig a hole in the room. It could be a front room, a bedroom, anything. They would dig a room, dig a hole. They would be buried in that room.
Right.
It would be covered up.
Right.
And then they would be covered up.
Right.
And so I know my grandmother's generation, they would have the weight in the house. You know, someone passed and the body would be in the house. And it was not just for one day. It would be for 2 or 3 days. I don't recall, but the body would be there in the house. And then it would, instead of a funeral home or whatever. And then they would take the body to the cemetery, you know, and bury it. But then also there were families, not our family that I know of, at least I would say 4 generations that I know of. They did not bury the body in the house, but in the cemetery. I lost my train of thought. Because even further than, I was going to say that some families would bury their loved one on their property.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Yeah, they would actually bury them on the property. Yeah.
Yes, and that's tradition in Africa. You know, more on that later. Yes. When we get to the DNA reveal, and we talk a bit later. And on that note, we have to hit traffic.
Yes.
On a final thought, what would you say to other people who are considering coming with Tribal Tapestry to Africa?
I would say don't hesitate.
Yeah, do it.
Don't hesitate. It's worth it. It's worth it.
I would say plan. If it takes you 10 months, if it takes you 12 months, plan.
Right.
And make it happen.
Yeah.
Because it's something that you will have forever. You know, you will have that for the rest of your life. And it's worth it. It's worth the investment.
Yeah. Beautiful. All right, you guys. I'm Prince Omowale, CEO of Tribal Tapestry.
All right. Thank you guys for watching.